Hi. Today I will begin with the IELTS Cambridge Book 2 Speaking Test 2. Okay. I will be doing a separate video on the icebreaker questions, which you can see in the other videos. In this series of videos that I am doing, I am answering all the questions that are there in the Cambridge IELTS books. So I am covering all the speaking tests which are there in the book. Alright, so the test 4 of Cambridge book 2 goes this way. So the first section, part 1, says the topic here is plans for future. Okay. The question is, why are you taking the IELTS test? Now here I will answer this question twice. Once for the study abroad students and the second time for the PR students. Alright, so let's do that. I'm taking this IELTS test because I plan to study abroad. This test is mandatory for me to qualify in order to bang a seat in the college that I desire to go. And that is why I am taking this IELTS test. This test is basically the English language test, and my proficiency in English will help me score a better band. That is the answer for study abroad, for students who plan to study abroad. Now for PR, okay, for students who are planning to go for PR. Why are you taking the IELTS test? I am planning to immigrate to a foreign country where English proficiency plays an important role. In order to prove my capabilities and my fluency in English, I have to qualify this test with a good band, and an appropriate score will make me eligible to immigrate, and that is why I am giving this IELTS test. Alright, now the next question. Why did you choose this plan for your future? I chose this plan for my future as the country that I am planning to immigrate has the best education possibilities. The course that I wish to do is best catered by XYZ country, and I have dreamt of always studying here. The campus placements are also very lucrative, and hence I have this plan for my future. Now talking about PR, for people who want to go for PR, why did you choose this plan for your future? Okay, the profession that I am pursuing has much better scope in XYZ country. Also, the lifestyle in this country is quite suitable for me, and that is why I have the plans to immigrate in my future. Now, how does your family feel about your plan? Okay, here you don't have to bifurcate the answers into a PR or a study visa. So here the answers will be common now for both. My family feels extremely proud of me as I have taken, or as I have made my mind to immigrate to study in a foreign country, or to opt for permanent residency for a foreign country. They also feel a little reluctant because I would separate out and stay in a foreign country all by myself. So I think it's a mixed feeling of reluctancy as well as feeling pride. Also, they are very emotional about me going away from them. So yeah, it is a mixed feeling that my family has about my plans. Next, what problems do you think you may have to face while carrying out these plans? Well, there will be several problems while I carry out this plan, because immigrating or shifting country is a humongous task. The first stepping stone would be to clear the IELTS exam. Post that, I will have to learn to stay alone and manage all my tasks by myself. Here in my own country, in my motherland, I have a lot of support from my family, my friends, my relatives, my teachers, my colleagues. However, in a foreign nation, I will be totally alone and trying to figure out the lifestyle, figure out the career opportunities. So definitely it is going to be a very Herculean task which I will have to do, and there will be several problems that I will overcome. Okay. Now we will go to the cue card. I believe you can see the questions on the screen. However, I will read out the questions to you. The cue card says, describe a farm you know about. You should say where the farm is, what the farm produces, who works on this farm, and explain how you know about this farm. Okay. Now, although in the examination you get a minute to make your points, how I go about answering this cue card is, I answer one question at a time and I try to speak at least 4 to 5 lines per question. Okay. Before I get into the sub questions, I initially give a build up, an introduction, okay, and also an appropriate conclusion as I end. So the end should not be abrupt. You should have a proper conclusion when you finish. Okay. So describe a farm that you know about. All right, let's start. I have visited several farms. And it feels really refreshing to see a farm, to see lush green crops and trees in your surrounding. The farm that I am going to narrate is the one that I have in my village, in the backyard of our house in our village. It is a small farm where we have several crops cultivated. Normally any farm has huge land or hectares. It is spread across hectares. However, this is a very small farm, probably about 1,000 square feet, which we have in the backyard of our home in my native place. This farm produces a lot of day-to-day consumable vegetables such as tomatoes, chilies, brinjal, lady's finger, and all this is being cultivated by the family members who reside in that house in my native place. This farm also has several coconut trees, and most of the vegetables which are cooked in my native place are freshly plucked from the farm in the backyard. So it is a very different feeling to have the vegetables in your backyard. On the every day that you begin, you decide what to cook depending on what has been grown in your own garden or in your own farm. Well, the farm has been maintained by my family. Also, there are certain workers that my family has kept. These workers are from the remote locations in the village. These workers come periodically to fertilize the soil, to do all the laborious tasks such as harvesting and rowing and sowing the seeds, adding fertilizers, and mostly they visit my native home seasonally when the major task has to be done. Otherwise, the day-to-day task of plucking the vegetables, storing them is done by the family members themselves. I knew about this farm when I visited my native home a few years back, probably a decade back, and I was on a leisure time. I was spending my leisure time in my native place, and that is how I came to know about how people in villages have their own farms, and a lot of cultivation is done by them locally in their own gardens, in their own small farms that they own. Also, the excess production which they have in their farms is sold out to their neighbors or even given as gifts to their neighbors, since this excess production should not get wasted. It is also given to the workers who come and work in the farm, and fed to the cattle that are owned by the farm owners, or even the cattle which roam around in the farm. So I find this farm very fascinating. Also from the health perspective, I think it is highly healthy that you cultivate in your own farm, in your own small garden, and use it for your day-to-day cooking. So that ends the cue card. I will move ahead and we will now do the follow-up questions. Okay. So the questions are: what are the benefits of working in a farm? Okay. Working in a farm has several benefits. People in the urban area do not get any opportunity to do this kind of rigorous physical activity, and they probably go for jogging in the morning, or they join a gym. However, working in a farm is the best gymnastic activity according to me. You are close to the soil which has given you birth, and also you are doing a lot of rigorous activity in the sunlight. So I think there are tremendous health benefits of working in the farm. Moreover, the fruits that you reap by working in the farm are very sweet, because you can grow what you want and consume what you have yourself cultivated. So I think working in the farm is highly beneficial. Next question: do you think a farmer's work is easier today than it was for the previous generation, and why? Yes, definitely the farmer's work today is much easier than it was in the previous generation. The reason being, a lot of farming activities are now done with the help of mechanism. A lot of machineries have been introduced for sowing, harvesting, reaping, for irrigation activities. So this has eradicated all the laborious work, all the difficult work for which the farmers used to work for hours, or use cattle for ploughing and other rigorous activities. So I think the current farmer has a lot of ease when it comes to farming. However, every farmer may not be privileged enough to afford this kind of machineries and equipment. So again, it differs case to case basis the farmer's financial strength. Okay. Next question: is being a farmer a good job in your country? Okay, this is a very nice question, considering all the farmers revolts that are going on currently. Okay, so yes, being a farmer is definitely a very respectable job in my country. India was, is and will continue to be a fertile soil, with agriculture as the staple occupation of millions of people. So definitely a profession which provides food to millions others is a respectable profession, although it is a very rigorous, hard-working profession, but definitely it is a profession which has a lot of respect and which holds a lot of power in my country. Okay, so let's move on. Now the next section in the follow-up questions is about town and country. Okay, Why might some people prefer to live in town rather than in a countryside? Which do people prefer generally in your country and why? Okay, before I answer this, countryside basically means the remote village area, okay? The sides, the corners, countryside. And town here refers to the urban area, okay? So the question here is, why might some people prefer to live in town rather than in countryside? Okay, and what do people prefer generally in your country? Very similar to all other countries, people in my nation as well prefer to live in a town. They prefer to live in the urbanized area where the lifestyle is much better, where the job opportunities are high, where the infrastructure is very well developed. So I think in every country the situation is same, and more younger people prefer to live where there are better career opportunities, which is in the town or in the urban areas. Next question. In today's world, what kind of issues are people in town and those in countryside likely to disagree on, and why? Okay, this is a little complex question. Listen to it again. In today's world, what kind of issues are people in town and those in the countryside likely to disagree on? Okay, and why? People in the town understand that the town is overburdened with tremendous amount of people or huge population shifting towards the town. Also, the amount of industrialization, commercialization which is increasing in the town has made the town highly populated. People in the countryside prefer to come to towns to get employed. However, people in the town want more development to happen in the countryside rather than more industrialization happening in and more commercialization happening in the towns to reduce the overpopulation and reduce the crowding. However, people in the countryside do not want this kind of development. They want to have cleaner airs and lesser population. They still prefer to migrate to town for job opportunities. This creates a lot of disagreement between the people in the town and the people in the countryside, where both want the crowding to be diverted, where the people in both the areas want development to be either decentralized or centralized. So there is tremendous amount of disagreement on these issues. Okay. Should people in the countryside have the same standard of public service as people in the town? Why? How easy would that be to achieve? Yes, definitely people in the countryside do want to have the same standards of living as people in the town. The countryside people always complain of not having better hospitals, better education facilities, better libraries, better infrastructure. However, at the same time, they object any kind of development that happens in their area in order to avoid any kind of pollution or any kind of overcrowding. Well, this creates a conflicting situation that the government has to resolve by keeping the people happy, and in order to achieve that, a huge amount of people have to show consensus on the kind of development that the area needs to undergo. Also, there are several challenges in order to achieve this on the financial front as well, because the taxes that are collected, if they are spent on development of countryside areas and providing public services to countryside areas, definitely the urban locations which are contributing to these taxes may want further development and further amount or funds to be spent on their infrastructure developments or betterments. So I think this whole balancing act of getting consensus, distribution of funds, and ensuring that the countryside gets the kind of public service without creating any kind of pollution or without creating any kind of overcrowding has to be done in a very delicate manner. So it is really very difficult to achieve this kind of complex desires that the people hold. Thank you. Are you facing difficulty to crack the IELTS exam? Is the IELTS reading test becoming a subject of concern for you? Are you not able to speak well in the IELTS speaking test? Writing a well-structured essay with good vocabulary difficult for you? Do you miss the answers in the listening section? All you need is the right approach and the proper tips to crack the exam. And you find all these right strategies at D-Cities Group. Our students have managed to score band 8 out of 9. We focus on training them with the right tricks to score well in the IELTS exam. Our student results: listening 8.5, reading 7.5, writing 7.5 and speaking 8.5. Overall band 8 for online classes as well as for classroom coaching. So contact us now. See you soon.